This style of addressing in lithic records in first person possibly comes from an earlier tradition, not in India per se. Just before the Mauryans came into political prominence in the subcontinent, in the northwestern borderland of the subcontinent, there was a mighty power, the very powerful empire of the Achaemenids or the Persians, who did control some parts of the northwestern borderland, also the northwestern frontier of the present subcontinent. The long presence of the Achaemenid rule is associated with such inscriptions, say the inscriptions of Darius, who also spoke in first person. It is not unlikely that the Mauryans, particularly Ashoka, being aware of such a tradition of writing down lithic records, and also he emulated the Iranian practice of reaching out to his subjects, to his administrators in first person. However, as we shall see later, that beyond this there is no further similarities in the contents and the manner of speaking as done by Ashoka and as it was done by the Iranian rulers, the Persian rulers of Iran, and also on the northwestern borderland of the subcontinent. Apart from the inscriptions, we also have large number of coins which can be attributed with some degree of certainty to the Mauryan period. We must tell here that the Mauryan coins do not have the names or figures of any Mauryan ruler. There are particular methods by which experts assign them to the Mauryan period. We shall talk about that particular issue later. Apart from these sources, there are also some field archaeological materials. For example, the Mauryan palace, at least partly, have been discovered from the excavations at Kumrahar, close to present-day Patna in Bihar. There are also other excavated sites belonging to the Mauryan period, like some parts or some levels of the ancient site of Taxila, ancient Takshashila, which was definitely a part of the Mauryan Empire, and also excavations at Bhita. There are some other field archaeological materials belonging to the realm of art history. Take, for example, the sculptures produced during the Mauryan times, which speak of not only the excellence of artistic achievements, artistic standard achieved during the Mauryan period, these also have bearing on the social, political and cultural scenario of the Mauryan times. It is true that the charismatic figure of Ashoka looms large in a number of Buddhist texts, though certainly of a period later than the Mauryan times and definitely later than the time of Ashoka. These are Buddhist legends, stories like Divyavadana, like Ashokavadana, belonging to the well-known Buddhist Avadana texts. However, these belong to a period of, say, roughly 2nd century AD, 3rd century AD, maybe slightly earlier at the turn of the Christian era, but certainly removed far in terms of chronology from the actual time of the Mauryas. Ashoka's rule is also occasionally remembered in a much later source, the famous Kashmiri chronicle, the Rajatarangini of Kallana, but that was written in about 12th century AD, far removed from the time of Ashoka. Take, for example, Chandragupta's memory is retained in some of the late Jaina sources because Chandragupta is said to have embraced Jainism in the later phase of his life. This is the context how Chandragupta figures in later Jaina sources. But all these sources are a bit late in the day.